Good day, everybody, and welcome to Season 2. That's right, Season 2. We have been renewed. WEDCOnomics, thanks for tuning in, and welcome. We're excited to dive into Season 2. We got a lot of very interesting guests coming up. We're going to do about 17 or so episodes over the course of a few months. They'll be available to you all year on Wolfeboro Community TV as well as YouTube. And so we hope you check them out. And last season is on YouTube as well. So it's all there for you. It is perfect for binge watching. You'll never be bored, I promise that. I would like to introduce, or I should say reintroduce, because Kathy was one of our highest rated programs last year, and that's why she is in the pole position for Season 2. Kathy Fairman, welcome.
Well, thank you, Jack. It's great to be here again. I think this series that you do is great service to the community because it does bring to the forefront the economic topics that are so important for people to learn about it. It's part of the heart of our community is what is happening in the economic area. So, and what, of course, WEDCO's doing, because, I'm a supporter of WEDCO.
I need to reintroduce myself. I'm Jack Terrill. I'm the Executive Director of Wentworth Economic Development Corporation, or otherwise known as WEDCO. Yeah. Kathy is on the board. And we are here to advise, finance, and promote the small business sector here in the Eastern Lakes region of New Hampshire. That's what we do. And we've had some very exciting new clients that we will be talking to through the course of the season. Really excited about that. We've been very active in our role in the community, and our intent is to keep that activity up and high, because you and I all know that the small business economy is the root of our economic health here in the Eastern Lakes region.
Sure is, and here in New Hampshire, it's the small businesses that primarily keep our people employed. And the small business people, I've been a small business owner for 40 years this year, and I know what that's all about. And I'm always so proud that look at WEDCO and the businesses over the years. And I don't know, how long has WEDCO been? Since the 1980s?
It's 32 years.
And they have helped launch through financing and through advice, through the whole process that we do. Some people who have been in business for a long time, advising young people who are just starting out. It's wonderful to see. But we have so many different kinds of businesses have been helped by WEDCO to get started or to expand. Mm-hmm. I come to mind a restaurant that was a seasonal restaurant was able to become year-round restaurant. And we watch these businesses grow and people over the many years. So businesses that have been here for 32 years that WEDCO helped get started. It's really a wonderful program.
Yeah, one of the more important roles that we play is that folks that are wanting to start or expand a small business, they may talk with a financial institution, and that financial institution can go only so far in the financial needs for that small business.
Exactly.
And more times than not, somebody starting out a business or a small business doesn't have a lot of cash, and they can't fill that gap to get that money released from the bank, and we'll come in and say, all right, we'll fill that gap. So our role as a gap financer does two very important things. One, it gets that small business or entrepreneur off the ground.
Yeah.
And two, it gets that money released into the community from the bank that otherwise wouldn't have been able to get released without our role as a gap financer. So.
Right, and then all of a sudden you have some new jobs, you have a new business that's providing services the community needs because of that little bit of piece that we're able to help with.
And every small business adds another layer of color to the area.
It sure does.
Right? If we're sitting here and we're nothing but box stores, it's not a really bright and colorful palette. but every small business brings something special and adds to the culture of the community. And I think the more culture we have in our community, the more color we have on the palette, the more folks are going to come and want to visit.
Absolutely, and enjoy. That's what people love about Wolfeboro, why they enjoy going into shops. They're not interested in doing the order on Amazon when they can come into town, and it's part of their celebration, part of the good reason they like to come to our community. But you know, it's not just the businesses that are startups, the new startups. What I love to see, and we're seeing more of too, is we're helping finance an existing business that may have been here for 100 years, that maybe it's the second or the third owner, and have one, come to mind that we did this year, and that business is now in the hands of someone who's going to keep it going, and then add the vibrancy and all of the things that come with a new, young, enthusiastic, and energetic owner. So it's great.
I love that part of it. If we can be helpful in keeping a legacy business thriving, and often that involves, because we all age, everybody but me, but we all age, and at some point, new people have to step in, and are they going to keep that legacy going or not? And we've had several instances where we've been able to help bring in new ownership, new ideas, but framed it around the legacy of the business that's been here forever.
And that's important. We all know we hate to see a business that's been here and is part of our the very culture, as you're talking about, at the very the heart of Wolfeboro, go. And we've seen some that have, because they weren't able to pass it on to, and people need to. I mean, they're retiring. They need to sell that business, and to be successful, we need buyers, and you need financing, and sometimes we can help with that.
Yeah, we're just, because we're a nonprofit, and because our mission is to really increase investment in our rural communities, we're willing, we take a little more risk. We're willing to take a lesser collateral position. We're here to ensure investment into the future for our community. That's why we're here, not to make money or. Not why
enough
we're
for
here.
a nonprofit, enough to keep it going, to pay the very small staff that we have, and the board is all volunteer. We have Jack and Rosemary, and we have that's the 2 staff members. So, but
That's it.
That's it, and that's one thing we want to talk about today is how we keep WEDCO going, and a little shift in what we're trying to do there.
Well, let's go down that route. I'd like to ask, perhaps you guys have seen it in the paper or heard about it, but recently we had a citizen of ours, Mildred A. Beach, turned 100 years old.
Yes, she did.
And that in itself is quite newsworthy. And congratulations, Mildred, and I'm sure you're watching at home.
She probably is.
Yeah.
She will be, sure. And she knows it. She's still living in her own home here in Wolfeboro, built by her father back in the 1930s.
That's fantastic.
It is.
Talk
It's a
about
wonderful
legacy.
thing.
Talk
Yeah.
about legacy.
Oh,
So I'd like to talk a little bit about who Mildred A. Beach is and what her professional life has looked like here in the Eastern Lakes region, and why that matters to you, me, and everybody else in our listening audience.
well, it gives me great joy to talk about. Mildred is known sometimes as Mildred Beach, more commonly often called Beachy by her friends, and Millie oftentimes as well. In fact, the Millie B, the New Hampshire Boat Museum's boat, is actually named after Mildred Beach.
No kidding.
Oh yeah, you didn't know that part?
I did not know that
Yeah,
part. The
always
Millie B.
It's always a good day when you learn something new. Well, that's
Yeah.
a very, very special thing to her, because she does love boats and she loves the lake. Well, not surprising, Mildred was born right here in Wolfeboro on March 2nd in 1924, so that's where it comes to. This is 2024.
It is.
In Huggins Hospital, so the first...
She was born in Huggins Hospital.
The first hospital, which was located, was a wood frame house located just between, there's a little forested area between Kingswood's Technology Center, the Kingswood High School, just over there a little bit, and the golf course. And in fact, when you're driving down, you look, Jack, when you pull out of here and you turn down, look into the woods, you're going to see a little monument with a little heart-shaped thing on it, and that's where the first Huggins Hospital was located.
No kidding.
Yeah,
I love
absolutely.
it. That's
So,
fantastic.
And she went to carpenter school through 8th grade, and which is what carpenter school was at the time, and then attended Brewster Academy, graduated from Brewster Academy in 1942. So she, that's at that point, of course, Brewster was the public high school for both Wolfeboro and Tuftonboro.
It was.
And the day after she graduated from high school, she went to work full-time for the Lakes Region Association. The person who was the executive secretary, they called it at that time, was Harold Hart. He was a local entrepreneur, had everything from a car dealership to various and sundry businesses. So the Lakes Region Association was one of 6 associations established in the 1930s to try to rejuvenate the economy during the Great Depression. And at that time, the Lakes Region Association was the one that was for our region, and it was to promote tourism, economic development, I should say, in the areas of tourism, healthcare, and transportation. So a wider range than the Lakes Region Tourism Association, which is what the Lakes Region Association became about 25 years ago, which focuses just on tourism. But through the 40 more years that Mildred was there, and she became the executive secretary of the Lakes Region Association, she was involved in promoting all kinds of economic development, particularly in those areas. And she had a very interesting and distinguished career and is recognized statewide for all the wonderful work that she did.
So let me just, a couple points to that. One, that was probably one of the first economic development organizations focused on economic development, right?
Absolutely,
I would assume.
it must have been, I would say.
And
yes.
2, it was a woman leading the effort.
Well, not at first.
Okay.
Yeah, no, and not for a long time. And she will tell you, she has some great stories about what life was like being. She was not, that's a whole nother story, but she certainly was a woman that made a huge impression and did a lot of wonderful things. But recognition did not come right away, as she will tell you. I think she puts it, it was a man's world.
Yeah.
Back then.
I think it was.
Yes, it was. So, but in any case, as times went along, she did some really remarkable things.
So, and she also served in the legislature?
She
is that
did.
right?
After she retired, after 45 years with the Lakes Region Association, when she retired in the 1980s, she was served for 6 years as one of Wolfeboro's representatives in Concord in the House there, and had made some great contributions there as well.
So, you had a great idea.
Every once in a while, one falls out of the tree.
And it was all based around how do we take this remarkable life and celebrate it or honor it because she's had a huge impact in the Eastern Lakes region.
She sure has. The number of businesses and the number of people that she mentored, including myself. I've known Mildred for 50 years. When I first came to town as a reporter for the Granite State News, and I learned so much from her in the years when we started the Laker in 1984, 40 years ago. Never would have happened without her. But there are business people all over the Lakes region who will talk about the difference she made. She believed, and still believes in cooperative efforts. You can accomplish more together than you can individually. And so she demonstrated that with bringing together groups of businesses. The Lakes Region Attractions Group, the Made in New Hampshire group, New Hampshire Travel Council. She was involved in helping establish all of those, and always worked with the representatives from the other regional associations, particularly the White Mountains and the Seacoast, because we had a lot in common.
So she was a proponent of collective impact.
Yeah.
Long before collective impact became the buzzword.
Absolutely.
For all the nonprofits and others.
Yep. She knew that. She knew that.
That's fantastic.
So
So your thinking on the honor, to honor Mildred was, I'll just start it, but I mean, at WEDCO, we discussed going back to how do we ensure that WEDCO is sustainable
Right.
for the next 100 years, or whatever it's going to be. It could be the next 500 years. Very important little piece in the economic development of our communities. How do we make sure this is sustainable? And we can't always rely on funding from government sources. We do have good partnerships with the USDA, the USDA is very interested in making sure that we have investment in the rural areas, so they've been an excellent partner. And we have partners with the New Hampshire Business Finance Authority and others.
Small Business Administration.
Small
So
Business Administration.
USDA stands for United States Department of Agriculture, so
Thank
which
you.
is our rural type thing. So
So we have those good
yeah.
partnerships, but we want to make sure that we can sustain with or without or at various levels of their support. We don't know the level of support we're going to get in the course of a decade because A, political leaders change, and B, thoughts on how they best invest in communities may change as well. So we have a fund of money that we invest in small business that is our own. And the thinking was that the more we grow that fund, that homegrown fund, that as a result of 32 years of operation, we were able to sort of develop this unattached fund that we have freedom to invest as we see fit in small businesses. How do we grow that? And in our discussions, we came up with the what I'll call the WEDCO revolving loan fund initiative.
Well, you said it was my idea to name the first one after Mildred Beach, but it was really your idea to proceed with this. So if I understand correctly, and I've only been on the board for 7 years, but that money that you talk about as WEDCO money, which we have whole decision-making authority over. We don't over those federal funds and those state programs. They come with some strings attached. They come with some requirements to have matching money, and sometimes we provide the matching money, sometimes the client provides the matching money. But in the past, we've kind of saved that money over the years. From when we invest with a client and they pay us and then we pay the money, which may be a grant, or we may have borrowed from some of these other places.
Well,
so,
we borrow from USDA. We borrow from New Hampshire Business Finance Authority, which is great. It allows us access. But without that, our own funding, we can't meet the match that these organizations require. So it's a huge. If we want to get a hold of $150,000 of USDA money, we need to come up with $50,000 of our own. And so that's how we use this fund, as well as we use it just on its own. But we need to grow it. If we're really going to sustain, if we're really going to be impactful in the community, it needs to grow. So we came up with the named fund, the named revolving loan fund, where an individual or family or a group of individuals, if they want to team up, can open up a named fund for $50,000. That's a big chunk of dough, and not a lot of people can do that, but there are ways that you can get there. And once that fund is created, that named fund, the Kathy Fairman fund, or the more importantly Mildred A. Beach fund,
right.
Once that fund exists, then that fund gets invested into small businesses in our region. The principal earned during the time of the loan from that fund always goes back to that named fund. The interest will go to support WEDCO so we can keep our lights on. But that principal always goes back to the fund, which means over time, that principal will be ready to go out into the community again for another loan.
Thus the revolving fund concept.
This initial giving could impact generations. It's not a one-off thing.
Right.
We'll have a lending tree where we can track that initial $50,000 investment and show where it's gone and the businesses it has supported over the course of time. So we're talking about the potential of a perpetual gift.
A perpetual gift, and a name that will continue. And what I liked about this, excuse me, is that it will continue the legacy of what Beachy did all those years. And it's also what she likes about it. So let me tell you about my conversation. She likes to keep up on absolutely everything that's going on and here and in the world. She is very, very still articulate. Her mind is sharp as a tack, as other people have said. So when I discuss this, as I talk to her about all the different things I'm doing, because we have great conversations, and she said, that's a good idea. And she said, no, they have to pay on the principal. I said, yes, they have to pay on the principal.
It's not a
and the
gift.
Interest. It's not a gift, no. And she says, and I like matching funds, she says. You got to have a little skin in the game, she says. And she's right about it. She understands how these things work. She says, I like that. And I says, well, would you agree to maybe having it named after you? And she said, well, I don't think it necessarily has to be my name on. I said, no, but it might help a little bit. And she says, well, if it'll help, then I'm happy to. And of course, she's very interested to watch it grow, and it is growing. And one of the things that is just great is WEDCO, the board decided, hey, look, we want to get behind this, and so we're taking some WEDCO money, and every dollar that's given to the Mildred A. Beach revolving fund is matched by WEDCO. So we are now approaching almost there on the first $10,000 for the Mildred A. Beach fund. We'd really like to get this finished up. We'd like to get it up to $50,000 as soon as we can, so then we can get it out in the community and loaned to somebody.
Yeah.
So we can see it working.
And Mildred can see it working.
And so Mildred can see it working too.
Which
Yeah,
is
she would
important.
love to. She would love to. She says that would be great.
There are different levels you can be involved in it, but in this particular case, because of the WEDCO match, which essentially means WEDCO's putting up $25,000 to match dollar for dollar $25,000. You don't have to meet the minimum threshold of $50,000 to participate. You can give at whatever level you're comfortable at, and your gift will be matched, and this Mildred A. Beach Fund will begin, and
That's right.
and we can all watch the impact that it's going to have over the years.
Donations coming in from people and businesses so far have varied in range from $25 to $1,000 contributions, and those are making helping us get there, and so we're going to get there, and every little bit helps. So it's I think one of the things that I do really like about it is that it's the business people putting money into it, and sort of matching what we are getting from the government type funds and government type loans. It's good for us. It's it's nice for a business person who may have started out and knows what it's like to be a startup, or knows what it's like to try and buy an existing business, a legacy business to continue. When you know that, it's nice to be able to step up and give back. So, which is how I look at this kind of thing. So it's giving back to a community that's done a lot for me.
It's also very important that we put a focus on this, because I'll say in rough numbers that WEDCO has about $650,000 of its revolving loan fund, its own revolving loan fund. That money is not sitting in a bank. Virtually all of it has been committed out into loans. So now we're sort of out of money in the revolving loan fund, and it's very important we start to build this back up again so we can hit the matches we need to hit with the USDA, so we don't leave any money on the table, that we get it all out into the community. And right now, I would say the revolving loan fund is about accounts for about a third of our monies that we have available to loan out. And we really want to grow that so that it accounts for about half, at least. And so we got some work to do. Anytime, if you have questions or want to talk about it, you can get a hold of Kathy or get a hold of me, and we can have further conversation. But this is how, after a lot of discussion, we feel is the best way to ensure the longevity and the impact of WEDCO for years to come. So that's why we're doing it.
That's right. And I'm just real pleased and with it. And thank everybody for the contributions that they have made. And call Jack at WEDCO. He'll tell you all about it some more. So.
Yeah, so
thank you so much.
Happy 100th, Mildred.
Yes, happy 100th.
We hope you have a wonderful summer, and we'll keep you apprised.
Absolutely, we sure will.
We'll keep you apprised.
Often, all the time. So
that's great.
And thank you, Jack, so much for talking about this fund. It's important to WEDCO, it's important to Beachy, it's important to me too. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. Speaking of important to you.
Well, I got to go polish some brass. I'm just telling you that. So it's.
She is the proud mother of Molly and Jolly.
Right, the trolleys.
The trolleys, right? It's trolley season.
It sure is. It sure is. They're very busy, very excited as we go into the season, and we'll be running right up through Columbus Day weekend tours, and we'll have and then every day in July and August. Molly's all ready to go. Spruced up a little bit this year. Jolly's going to be doing his free shuttle again from Kingswood and from Linda's Flowers, and it looks like maybe from North Main Street, but we are still piecing that together, kind of a last minute thing again. But Jolly will be there, free shuttle service Monday through Saturday, try to relieve the parking situation downtown, and then of course Molly will be doing her narrated tours. So the trolleys are back on the road, we're ready for fun.
So it starts this weekend?
Yeah, they've been doing weddings since April, and Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, tours on the trolley. So, but.
And then the parking shuttle starts July?
That starts July 1. Yeah, we can't start until after school's out when the parking lot's available here at Kingswood. Obviously,
right.
There's that little thing. It's kind of full right now, but then after school's out, we've got literally hundreds of parking spaces. You can get on that trolley. It runs every half an hour, starting at 9:30 in the morning. Last trip back from downtown is at 4:45. We go from here. We'll go to Wolfeboro Falls, and then we'll go circle around Bay Street, come down to the railroad station. So it leaves every half an hour, goes back every half an hour. So
that's for the parking.
That's for the parking shuttle.
And how much does that cost somebody to use?
The parking shuttle is free. There's no charge for the parking, no charge to ride the trolley. The tours.
That's fantastic.
It is. It's good. You don't get
in
that.
In this day and age, what do you get for free? Not much.
Well, let me tell you, it's supported by the businesses in town that buy the signs on the trolley, by the ads in the Discover Wolfeboro, the red brochure, and by all the people who use this for private charters. So that sometimes we're not running because we have to go to a private charter, but that's what supports that. And that's really why Molly's, her tour, it's an $8 all-day pass for adults, $6 for a child, under 4 ride free. That's a pretty good deal too.
Yes, it is.
And we keep that going and are able to, again, for the, as I say, about 80 different businesses who partner with us to make that happen.
That's
80 businesses, yeah.
So Molly's route is different than Jolly. Jolly is a very direct, here's the parking and back and forth. Molly is more of a tour.
It is a tour. It's 45 to 50-minute tour. Depends a little on the traffic. And that runs every hour starting at 11 until 2. So 11 a.m., 12, 1, and 2. It starts from the railroad station, but you can also hop on at the docks, at the town docks, on the half hour there. So
all right.
11:30, 12:30, and 1:30. So.
Okay.
Yep.
And that is a narrated tour?
It is narrated tour. The driver tells you about the history of the town, about the points of interest, about the outside advertisers. People who buy a sign on the outside. It's part of what they're getting is that their business will be mentioned. But what we're telling them is information that they're interested to know, especially our visitors and vacationers. We're partnering with Mount Washington which comes into town 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday, so that people will park their car at Kingswood, ride the trolley down, get on the boat, and go out at 11:15.
When does the mount start coming into harbor?
It's coming. It should be coming in now. I'm not exactly sure the date. I don't remember
haven't
hearing
heard-
it. I haven't heard it blow.
I haven't heard it blow.
So I'm not sure. It must be starting very soon. Maybe this weekend as well. But that's a 2.5-hour ride. The mailboat's a 2.5-hour ride as well. Well, we have 2-hour parking downtown, which I'm told will again be enforced this year. So that's important. You don't want to get a ticket. Park outside of town if you work downtown, so the visitors can park. But visitors are starting to ride the shuttle as well because, well, we want them to stay longer than 2 hours as well. So
Sure we do.
And they want to too. So.
Well, it's wonderful to hear that Molly and Jolly are back in full force. So that means last year was a good year for you?
Oh yeah, but last year was a good year. Well, you're looking at a very busy year again this year. Yeah, this will be. Let's see, we started in 1987, so I guess that means this is our 37th year. 37th or 38th year, something like that.
And there's a lot of you out there that have never set foot on those trolleys.
Yeah, I'm sure there are.
And so,
Come on along.
when you have a little extra time, take advantage of this wonderful. Not every town has trolleys.
No, they do not.
Only the special ones.
Right.
So we thank you for your 37 years of.
Yeah.
Wow, that's dedication.
Well, it's fun. We're in the business of having fun and making sure other people have fun. So how does it get any better than that?
So earlier on, I talked about the palette of color and how
Yeah.
small business brings more color, and certainly the trolleys bring a lot of color to the culture of our community.
Well, thanks, Jack. We
Yeah.
enjoy it too.
Yeah.
We're happy to do it.
Well, listen, that's it.
And if you'd like to drive for the trolley, please give me a call. We're always interested. We'll teach you how to do it. If you're
That's-
interested and you like people, then give us a call.
I think that's a fantastic way to.
You could probably drive trolley.
Oh, I know I could.
Yeah,
I
there you
would
go.
be. I have that sort of drama in me where I would be a great storyteller,
Yeah.
and I'd embellish, and
We'll talk about it.
Your drivers get tipped too, don't they?
Oh, they do. If they're good. If they're good. If they're friendly, yeah, that can be
What a
pretty
great way to
pretty
get a
good
little
way.
extra coin.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun too.
All right. Well, that's great, Kathy. Thank you so much
Well, thank you.
for the pole
Having me.
position, taking the pole position in season 2. Great conversation. We obviously have some things going on that
Sure
we're going to
do.
keep an eye on.
And some very interesting subjects coming up on your show too. So
I'm
we know.
really excited about the lineup of guests. We're still building it, but it's going to be very, very good. It's going to be very interesting. Want to give a shout out to Wolfeboro Community TV. That's me,
Thank you.
Wolfeboro Community TV. This is a very important resource for our communities. Let us not forget that they honestly are not fully funded. So when you are thinking about your giving plans, don't be shy to send a little money towards Wolfeboro Community TV. It's such an important resource. And so anyway, thanks for tuning in, and we will see you on the next episode.